You are tuning in to Pass the Wine with your host, Alina Evans. This is episode 1, and today we're going to talk about sis level up on the inside. I originally wanted to talk about knowing your worth, whether that's just personally in the workplace and relationships. And then my husband actually saw this topic and it clicked. I'm like, yes, that's it. And so let's dive in. I want you guys to get to know who I am before we start delving into the topic. So I am from. I'm not really from anywhere. I guess I'm a military brat. I lived in Japan and Okinawa. I bounced back and forth. I think twice, and moved to the States in '98. We lived in San Diego, California. And then I was devastated when I was told that we're moving to Corpus Christi. Sorry if any of you are listening and you're from Corpus, but it wasn't my cup of tea. So I ended up moving to Austin, Texas. Yes, I'm a smart cookie, right? So I moved to Austin and I had my first daughter at the age of 19. And her dad is my high school sweetheart. So we dated in high school and she is now 15, guys. I can't believe it. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me and the most responsible young lady that I know. That is for a fact. I got really blessed with her, and she's just a ray of sunshine. And it was just us two. We were a team. I was a single mom for 13 years before I found my husband. And as if you're a single mother, you know the struggles, and that's another reason why I want to interview women from all walks of life, because you don't need a degree or a major, um I guess, I don't know, plaque or award accomplishment to have a success story and to be successful, right? There's just so many different trials and tribulations that women go through without saying a word, and you would have no idea. But, when I meet these women, and some of them are really good friends of mine, I would have no idea. They just hold themselves up so well. They're put together, they are successful. And it's just interesting to me. It's like a fairy tale, if you will, to know all the different things that they went through and who they are today. Yeah, so not to get off topic, but I found my husband, or should I say, he found me. And we moved to the Amarillo area because he was working over there in a small town called Dumas, Texas. And Cami and I packed up. We moved over there. We have a 2-year-old daughter who is going to be 3. We have the same birthday month. We actually have the same birthday. Um, well, not the same birthday, but we have a birthday on the same week, or we're a couple days apart. And and so we were there for 2 years, and then we moved to the Dallas area. My husband is originally from here, so it only made sense. We have family here. We should move this way. My parents live in Louisiana. My mom and stepdad live in Louisiana in Shreveport, and my biological dad, he lives in Arizona. And I have a brother and a sister that live over there as well. And so it's us and my husband's family, or his brother and his family live here. So we're in good company. And yeah, I love it here. My daughter and I, my oldest, we used to visit Dallas all the time when we lived in Austin. So I was somewhat familiar with it. But yeah, we've been here since March of this year. And I mean, we literally moved here when COVID hit. So it was interesting times, that's for sure. But we're glad we're here. And I'm close enough to my mom and to my friends who live in Austin to get away for a weekend. It's nothing like the drive to Amarillo. That was, I think, 8.5 hours. And yeah, just country roads. It's very long. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I mean, I was a single mother. I was able to go to school online, so I did get my bachelor's degree online. I went on campus for a while. There was a campus right across the street from where I worked. It was too much. I mean, my daughter was a toddler at the age, and to go over there for night school after work and then drive 45 minutes to pick her up and then 30 minutes to drive home, as you can imagine, was taxing. And we were just really exhausted. So I was lucky enough to get it online, and I am considering going for my master's. And I'm thinking I want to get it in either human resources management, some form of leadership development, HR, concentration. I've been in human resources for 16 years now. Next year will be 17. I started in HR straight out of high school. I kind of just fell into it. I wasn't looking to be in HR, had never ever thought about it. I was a cashier at Target for, I think, 4 days. And the HR assistant came up to me and said, "Oh, the manager wants to talk to you. Can you meet us in her office in 5 minutes?" So I shut down my register, nervous, thinking, what did I do? So I'm thinking back on the last couple of days. I had no idea. I'm like, what? I don't get it. What did I do? Am I short on my register? Am I over? I'm thinking, when you're nervous, you start making up all these crazy stories. And so I go into the office, and they asked if I wanted to take her place while the HR assistant went out on maternity leave. And thought, well, why not? I mean, it's better than being a cashier. So, yeah, so I jumped right in, and it was a natural fit. I really enjoyed it. Actually found out a month later I was pregnant, so it was perfect timing. You gotta love that, right? Just God's perfect timing. And yeah, and so I haven't left. I will say in my 20s, I did go back and forth quite a bit on what I really wanted to do, if that's something I wanted to do long term. And it really just took a matter of doing a little bit of everything in human resources to find my niche and what I really enjoyed doing, which I discovered was more on the people side of HR. So recruiting, onboarding, orientation, not payroll, reporting, HRIS, the analytical side. So that was great experience to be able to venture into those different areas in HR and ultimately get to what I'm passionate about, which is employee relations. I am currently an employee relations consultant for a hospital here in the Dallas area. I absolutely love it. It is, I want to say, the perfect fit because I don't have to manage people. I'm a consultant. We come from a non-biased standpoint, and we counsel and coach managers on how to counsel their staff, and then vice versa. If an employee has an issue, they can come to us. So we're really not allowed to take sides. We're really there as a third party, and to assist both throughout the process and whatever we're dealing with at the time. Yeah, so I do that. I have a spa called Wax and Skin, and I have been wanting to do that for a very long time. I got my esthetician license in 2014, and that was a struggle. Oh my gosh. I think 2014 was the worst year of my life. 2014 and 2015. It was a hot mess, you guys. I got my license, and I have been able to open my very, very own studio. So it's in the past and I can move forward, thank God. And yeah, I opened my studio this year, August 1st. Why did I open a business during COVID? Yeah, I'm sure that is what you're thinking. Great question. And I didn't plan it. It just happened. It unfolded at the right time. All the stars aligned, if you will. And so I just jumped on it. And yeah, here we are today. And it's been interesting. Nothing is ever as you expect it, right? You plan and envision for it to be one way, and then reality hits and you're like, oh man, why did I do this? And I don't think that all the time. I have my days, and like everyone, my good and my bad days. It's it's I love it. I still to this day cannot believe that I get paid to do facials and waxing. To me, it's fun. So the fact that I found a hobby that I could monetize is huge. It's huge for my family. to help support us and for my wellness and for my sanity and confidence. And it kind of ties into this topic that we're going to discuss today about leveling up on the inside and what that looks like and what it means. And that's a part of it, dabbling into what you're interested in, making time for you and your hobbies. Let's dive in. Let's dive in. All right. So, when we think about leveling up on the inside or leveling up your life, what does that mean? Well, to me, it means being a better version of yourself. The version that you think in your head like, oh, this is who I could be. Your highest potential of how you see yourself. That is essentially leveling up. It's the journey to level up to ultimately get to where you want to be. So, the first thing that I want to touch on is health and making sure that you're taking care of your body, your temple. If you're not okay, sis, nobody else is okay. If your cup isn't full, there's nothing to pour out, there's nothing to give. So, first is to take care of yourself, and that's mentally and physically. If you need to see a therapist, there's so many options out there. They have apps where you can talk to someone online, or you can see someone in person, obviously, but talking to someone, if you don't feel comfortable going to a therapist, having someone close to you that you trust and you look up to, you trust their advice. And even if you don't want advice and you just need someone to vent to, making sure it's someone you trust and that you're close with. Sometimes you may need to just have an ugly cry in the shower and let it out, sis. So making sure you're mentally good, you're strong. And I think when you start doing things that you enjoy, being outside, getting some fresh air, feeling the sun, feeling the pavement or the grass, running, working out, all those things definitely heighten your mood. I know, like yesterday, I was working all day. I work from home full time, and there are days when my eyes get so glossy from looking at the screen all day, and I just feel real sluggish. And then I can start to feel myself get into like, that slump. And it's not depression, it's just like a ugh feeling. And I just go outside. So yesterday I was feeling that way, and I told my husband, I said, "Hey, I'm just going to go out and, run some errands. I just need to get out." And man, I instantly felt better just to feel the sun, and it opened my eyes. It was bright out. Little things like that make a big difference. Seeing your doctor, doing your annual visits, getting your mammogram or your pap smear, getting that annual wellness done is so important. And don't feel afraid to speak up to your doctor and let your doctor know what's going on with you. That's why they're there. And if you don't trust them, find another doctor. That's really important to make sure you feel comfortable with your OBGYN. And then I also recommend getting a PCP as well. I have a primary care physician and I have an OBGYN. And depression it's real. It's not something that we need to overlook and think, "Oh man, I'm just being sensitive." No, if you're really feeling depressed and anxious, please see somebody. Sometimes it does take medication. It I think medication is a last resort, but you know yourself the best, and it's just something to talk about. You can have a conversation with your doctor and they're going to give you their best advice, and if they think medication is necessary, and if so, great. But taking care of your mental health and then physically, I would say, is number one on the list of leveling up, making sure that you're well and you're fit. And exercise is so amazing. It's hard to get into. I've noticed, especially right now, I have not been going to the gym the way I used to. I'm telling you, when I was pregnant, I would get my butt up at 4:45, go to class at 5:30. This was every day except for Sunday. I don't think I did. Saturday I'd wake up at 9, or I'd go to class at 9, but Monday through Friday, I was getting up at 4:45 a.m., going to class. I did that through my whole entire pregnancy. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh, well, good for you, Alina, right? Over here patting myself on the back. But I'm definitely not doing that now. And my daughter's going to be 3. So we have cycles, we have bouts where we're going all the time. And, it's just life. And you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. It seems like gaining weight, this quarantine weight. And I'm definitely one of them. And you have to give yourself some grace, be easy on yourself. I think we're our own worst critics. If I were to say out loud all the things that I think inside of my head sometimes, I would be ashamed and so embarrassed. We're harder on ourselves than anyone else. So if you're judging yourself, just stop it. Stop the negative talk. As soon as you start it, just nip it in the bud and replace it with the positive one. Now I sound like Tony Robbins, but it works. And that does define how your day is going to be. That is going to define how your body feels. When you start talking fast, when you start moving your body around, then your mood shifts, right? So if you're eating chips all day and you're on the couch, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel like crap. And so if you just got to start, and it's okay if you forget one day, not forget, you're not going to forget to work out. You choose not to. Say you don't work out one day. Okay, that's fine. Tomorrow's a new day. Every morning you can reset. You don't have to wait for the beginning of the month. You don't have to wait for a Monday. I can't stand that. I used to do that. I used to be one of those people where I'd say, okay, on Monday I'm gonna start this, or on the first of the month I'm gonna hit it hard. Why can't you start tomorrow? And so I do now. I've gotten out of that habit. To me, I used it as an excuse to procrastinate, and I identified that. So now I'll just tell myself, nope, you know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Or if it's in the middle of the day, I'll say, well, for dinner, I'm going to eat a lot better because today I've been eating pretty crappy. So you can choose any time to reset and to start on the right path. There are gym memberships out there that are not expensive. I go to Planet Fitness. It's so funny. They call it the Black Card membership. It's $25 a month, and I think the normal membership is like $10. And I used to go to Gold's Gym, and I think it was like 35 bucks, $40, something like that. And then you have those those gyms like Lifetime and CrossFit. Those, obviously are going to be a little more expensive, but if you just want a membership to get out of the house and to get moving, there's some really cheap options out there. Or you could just go out and run and it's free. I hate running, by the way. I'm a weightlifter type of girl. I hate cardio, but I need cardio. So I'm going to have to start learning to just have a love-hate relationship with running. I know that HIIT is the best way to burn fat, and I lost a lot of weight last year. It was the best shape I had been in my entire life. Even in high school, but pre-pregnancy, I was just in tip-top shape. And I had a trainer, I had an online trainer, and she gave me this very detailed plan, and it included my food plan, my exercise every day, and I mean she didn't leave anything out. My vitamins, my supplements, and so with that, I mean I stuck to it religiously, and yeah, I had some really good results. So I still refer back to those workouts and the food plan whenever I want to get back on track. And so having that as a tool has been really helpful. So it's about investing in yourself. If you are struggling to know what to do and what to work out and how to work out, or you're just kind of lost, you may want to save and invest in getting a trainer. I'm telling you, it's worth it. You're going to see some amazing results. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel more confident. Your mind is definitely going to shift I'm telling you, when you work out and you release those endorphins, you feel amazing. And um, there's no better remedy. There's no prescription out there that I think can achieve those similar results. So health is wealth, y'all. Get in shape. If not, just making sure that we have a regular plan in place. And this is talking to myself too. Even though I've been on a journey, I'm still young. I still have a long way to go. But what counts is what you do every day, and that you're trying, and you'll eventually get there. Give yourself some grace. So, in addition to investing in your health, even though this isn't necessarily something on the inside that you can do to level up, I think it ultimately does affect you on the inside. It's investing in your appearance, and some of you may be thinking, "Oh, that's kind of shallow," to say that or to think that. But hear me out. So, if you are consistently buying cheap clothes and maybe that's all you can afford, and that's fine. Um, but if you could, so think about this. If you save money, or if you go, you don't even have to buy cheap clothes. You could go to a thrift store where they have clothes there that are high quality, good fabric. So even if you are on a budget, which I think most of us are, right? Unless you're Jay-Z and Beyonce, then, find those clothing items that are constructed really well, they're sewn together really well, the fabric is high quality, and you can have that piece of clothing for a lot longer than if you were to just buy $5 shirts here and there. And that's that's cool too, to buy $5 shirts, but to build an attire, to build a wardrobe that is going to make you feel like yourself and feel really good about who you are, I suggest investing in those pieces and building a wardrobe with essential items. So, a jean jacket, of course, jeans, a white shirt, a black shirt, um, a cardigan, a blazer. Taking time to buy clothes that are gonna last, and that makes you feel good. So if you put it on, you're like, okay, I feel like I'm the shit with this on. Keep it. It's like that show on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and I forget her name. It's an Asian lady, and she hugs her clothes, and if it makes her feel good, I think that's how it goes. If it makes you feel good, she keeps it. If not, she like blesses it or something and says thank you and gives it away. I think that's how it goes. But yeah, so you could do the same thing here. So whenever you're trying on clothes and you're like, no, this is it, keep it. And make sure it's constructed really well. So investing in your wardrobe, and then also investing in your skin. Skin is really important. And I'm not just saying this because I'm in the industry. I struggled with really bad acne, the deep cystic acne growing up. I actually went on 2 rounds of Accutane in my 20s, and I used to get these really painful cysts around my jawline, which now I know is hormonal, but at the time I had no idea where it was coming from. And so I went on my first round of Accutane and noticed it cleared up in like 2 weeks, and my skin was so amazing. And then it started to come back. It wasn't as bad, but I was getting congested again. So I went on the second round. By the way, I don't endorse this. After doing it, it does have side effects, and some of them you may not notice until later on. I have noticed some changes in my body that I'm not going to go into detail about, but um, you you do have there are some side effects, but if you are in just such pain and you've seen a dermatologist, you get facials, you're using good quality ingredients and products, then I think 1 round of Accutane would help, but definitely don't do two. Um, yeah, so investing in your product. Skincare is not cheap. Skincare doesn't have to be expensive. I know The Ordinary is an amazing brand that is more on the affordable side. You can get it at Ulta, and I absolutely love it. I use it every day. they have this amazing glycolic toner that comes in a good sized bottle. It'll last me a couple of months. I say 3 months. And I use it every night, and it gives you this really nice dewy glow without being oily. My skin's actually not oily whatsoever, but it's hydrated. And I think that glycolic toner attributes to that. And then I use a hyaluronic acid serum after, and that's my moisturizer. And it really absorbs into the skin. You don't feel greasy. It's water based, and you just look refreshed and hydrated. So that's a little plug-in ad there for two products that I really like. And the glycolic toner I think is like $8. And anywhere else it'd be like 30, 28. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on skincare. I say you give yourself $50. You go to Ulta. All you need is a cleanser, which you don't need to spend a lot of money on. Um, your toner, your serum, and a mask, and then an exfoliator that you can use like 2 or 3 times a week. And I like the chemical exfoliators because the little scrubs cause minor tears in your skin, and that causes scarring. So I would suggest, I know Thomas Roth, they have a good enzyme that I use a couple times a week. You don't want to over exfoliate because you can definitely scar your skin and it'll end up being really dry and sensitive. So yeah, go to your local Ulta, and the representatives there can guide you through the products. And if you're lost, you have help there. So um, next is personal finances. I know when I was in my 20s, I was struggling really bad as a single mom. And I look back now and I don't know how I did it or how I managed to support us and keep us afloat. My daughter went to this daycare that was extremely expensive. I don't know how I did it, but by God's grace, I did. But I'll tell you, while I say that, because while I was doing that, I was definitely stressed, and it affected my mood. I was more irritable. I was frustrated. I wasn't as happy. I know that's for sure. You can't do as much. Like on the weekends, you want to go out and do stuff and enjoy yourself, but sometimes you constrain because you can't, and that's okay. That's part of being disciplined and not splurging, and living within your means, which I highly recommend living within your means. I have one credit card and I only use it for gas and emergencies and nothing else. I don't need another credit card. I won't open another one. I heard this it wasn't a seminar, but I think it was our CFO, or I don't remember. I think it was our CFO or controller that spoke at one of our staff meetings at this credit union I worked at. And I think I was 21 or 22 at the time, and I'll never forget it. I actually still think about it to this day. That's how impactful it was. This guy went over the impact of opening credit cards and the interest rate and the time it takes to pay it off. And that scared me, and I never wanted to get one after that. I got one to build credit and to have for emergency situations. But I don't want to rely on a credit card for emergency situations. That's what I have my savings for, because my savings doesn't have interest on it and I don't need to pay it back. So making sure that you are financially sound and know about different options, about CDs, about credit cards, about personal line of credit, going to your credit union or bank and talking to them about your finances. You're doing yourself a huge favor in that endeavor because it's going to impact your life and your family, your loved ones long term. And it opens up more doors and opportunities for you. People say, oh, you're not happy when you're rich or just because you have more money. No, but you are able to live a lot more comfortably, and it does make life easier. You're going to get a lower interest rate and payment on your car if you get a car loan. If you're trying to buy a house, credit is everything. So, building your credit is another part of leveling up and being a better version of yourself, being responsible with your finances. Look, if rent is due, don't go out splurging the weekend before and then find out you're short. Um, Little things like that, I think, build up and long term have some long term effects on you. 10 years later, you may still have something on your credit and you're like, when is this going to go away? I thought it was going to fall off. It may not fall off in 7 years. And then also paying your bills on time because that shows up on your credit too. If you have late payments, that'll flag, especially with your car note. So creating a spreadsheet or making a list. I know some people still do it old school and they'll just have a notebook and write down. I think my mom still does that. But I'm pretty tech savvy. I love my computer, and so I've built a spreadsheet and it has all of my priority bills, my top bills, and I have one account for that and then I have another account for spending money. It helps me um in my mind, it makes sense. I like to have it separated and differentiate the two. And just like with my savings, I have that separate as well. I don't want to tempt myself with seeing my savings attached to my checking because it's really easy to just go ahead and hit that transfer button. So having a separate savings account that's not attached to your checking, I think it's going to help with that temptation to want to pull from it. So I use that for emergencies and not my credit card. So yeah, health is wealth, building your finances, and then educating yourself. So this is a good one. Often we will, let's see, read, books that are entertaining, but we want to also make sure that we're educating ourselves. Reading is a great way of doing that. Just brushing up on, the news, what's going on. You can obviously find that on the internet, um, and that applies to many different areas. One I would say is politics. Even if you're not into politics, you can't stand it. You think the government is shitty. I totally understand. However, we still live in this country, and I think it's important that we educate ourselves on what is going on and what each candidate has to offer. Um, Exercising our right to vote. Um, it's like a pebble in a plethora of waves in the pond, right? So you throw that one little stone. It's just the accumulation of all of those that's going to make a difference. So when people say, no, my vote doesn't count, it really does, in the grand scheme of things. It helps towards a greater cause. So not thinking so small, but looking at the bigger picture and making sure that, yeah, you're just aware of what's going on in the news. I like watching the news at least once a day, 30 minutes a day, just so I know what's going on. And then educating yourself on things that you're interested in. Say you are interested in science or I don't know, say there's a topic you're really interested in. I'll use myself, for example. Mine is obviously self development. I've always been into that topic, and I have lots of books on people that I look up to, like Dr. Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins. Um, I can never say her first name. I think it's Breen Brown. I call her Dr. Brown because I can't say her first name. Um, Rachel Hollis. I mean, there's just so many authors out there. Ryan Holiday, he lives in Austin. And to just better yourself and it helps you think about areas of your life that you may have not been aware of that you're lacking, or how to improve. And I'm going to tell you, like, just reading those types of books over the years really has shifted my thought process. And I have people tell me all the time, Alina, you're always so happy. Um, it's rare that I find you mad. You're always in a good mood. You're always so positive. It really is because of all the time that I've invested in bettering myself and reading and doing, activities, listening to YouTube and webinars, and just continuously looking for ways to better myself. I'm just like a lifetime learner, if you will. And so also investing in just educating yourself in the things that you're interested in. It makes you more well-rounded. It serves for better discussion and conversation with others. And then it also helps build your tribe. So when say you're a sports fanatic, okay, more than likely the five people you hang out with, 90% of the time, they're going to be into sports too, right? When you hang out with people regularly, it's because you have things in common. You like the same things. Otherwise, you have nothing to talk about and you're sitting around not saying anything, bored. So obviously that's not going to be your tribe. That's not who you'll be hanging out with. And so when you're more informed on those topics and you guys get together, it serves for greater dialogue and you may not have expected. And I was just thinking about it because I was thinking about feminism, women empowerment. And although I do support and really, love the purpose of those terms and the intention behind it, I think it's a little, how do I say this? It's a little extra, right? Um, I think there is power in balance, and I am pro women's choice, of course, but everyone has a balance, right? We have a balance of masculinity and feminine energy. So when you tap into your femininity, I cannot say that word, femininity, as a woman, it really does set us apart from men. So it's what makes us more powerful. Having compassion isn't weak. That's often a misconception. Oh, she's really compassionate and she's so nice, and that's often seen as a weakness. But I think that's truly what makes us powerful as women, is the ability for us to show that genuine feeling of care. And um, men seem to not want to tap into that because it doesn't make them seem as powerful, right? They're looked at as soft. So I think when we get comfortable with not competing with our man, and whether you're dating someone or you're married, like even with me, I'll use myself as an example. I am what I guess some people consider um, an alpha female, right? Whatever that means. But I am very independent. I have always been my entire life. I don't rely on anyone else. I rely on myself, and I'm a go-getter. If I need something, I'll go get it done. And so now that I'm married, I have to be more aware of that, because I don't want him to think that I don't need him. And as a man, let's be honest, they need that. They need to feel wanted and respected and valued and all those things, just like women need to feel loved. And so I do have to remind myself that it's okay for me to step down, let him be the man, and it's okay if, I don't take care of this time. Just let him do it. It's okay. And not being so controlling, because that is an area that I definitely need to improve on, is being controlling. Because if I don't have control over it, I feel like it's slipping through the cracks and I start to get fearful. It's ingrained in me from when I was a single mom. And I think that's a great attribute to have. It's natural when we feel like something bad is going to happen, that's when we kick in that gear of, okay, I need to take care of this now. I need to get in control. And you don't want it to. You don't want it to slip through the cracks because the consequences can be, really tough. So as a woman, making sure that we have that balance of taking care of our business. If you're a businesswoman, great. If you're a mother, you're a housewife, you own your own business, having that boss babe, um, personality and getting shit done, but you're also showing that compassionate and that caring side. And that's just being human and not really a woman thing to do, but as a good human, showing humility and compassion, something that we should all tap into and make sure we're balancing um, in all of our decisions and who we are as a person. And being a woman's woman. So this ties into that, supporting other women, empowering women topic, and really the theme of this podcast. And understanding that not all women are going to think the same as you, not all women are going to be the same as you. And I really have seen that, and it's opened my eyes while having this spa business and even working at a spa when I lived in Austin. You meet so many different women, and you are kind of forced to adjust yourself in that interaction with them. And that's totally fine. It's not that you're not being authentic. You're just like with any interaction with a human being. When we're with someone, we tend to adjust ourselves and our personality to theirs. It's human nature. Um that's how we are. And so when I worked at the spa and I was meeting all of these different types of women and personalities, it did give me an appreciation just for women in general. And gosh, if I did a podcast on all my clients, my goodness, there's so many stories. It's like they're in a therapy session. Um, I really enjoy it because they need an ear, right? They're venting or they're telling me what happened that week, and they don't need your advice. Most of the time, they just need you to listen. And I often found myself thinking I was a counselor during my facial. And so being that person, right, for other women and for your friendships, and not being so gung ho on telling them what to do and how to change the situation or improve it and what they need to do, but listening and confirming and acknowledging to them that, look, I understand. I am sorry you're going through this. I am here for you. I'll lend my ear whenever you need me. If you need to talk, I'm here, sis. When they're going through something, don't judge them, but rather try and understand and put yourself in their shoes. And that happens. I mean, when you have friendships and they're great and something happens and you're like, oh, what was that about? And just taking that time to understand women are very complicated with complex feelings. Men are too. They don't want to admit it. But humans, we are. We're complicated. We have a lot of different emotions. And women, yes, we can be more on the sensitive side. And just understanding that just because we're not the same doesn't mean that the other person is wrong. And just acknowledging there's a difference there and moving on, right? Relates to this discussion is volunteerism. I I highly believe that the volunteer work that I've done has attributed to the person that I am today. I have done Meals on Wheels, Habitat for Humanity, volunteering at universities to help students with interviewing and building their resumes and how to dress for success. It's so rewarding to know that you're helping um, without anything attached, without asking for anything in return. It's a humane, um, I think it's one of the most humane things we can do is to give back to our community. And it really does level you up on the inside. So, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And I look forward to having more conversations like these with you. Stay tuned as we will release our very first interview. And don't forget to pass the wine, sis.